first this time?
Sure, you go ahead.
This is Omar Wahid.
And this is Rob Chappell.
And this is 365 Amplified.
Fantastic. That was amazing. Nick is on assignment. Stephanie is at her actual job. So it's just me and Omar today. Soon, in a little bit, we will have Dr. Jennifer Berne join us. She is the new president of Madison College. It's very nice getting to know her a little bit, and not only her, but her vision for Madison College, which is now that we're on the South Side, is like, that's the view from my office, is the Madison College South Campus and the Beltline and McDonald's. So it's a fantastic vista. Couple things we want to get to today. The first of which is continued work/tension over what the city of Madison is going to do with unhoused people. Last week, Omar, you talked about the Dairy Drive campsite being dismantled. That's still in the news. So tell us, you went to the meeting.
Yes.
Special session Tuesday night, right?
I did. Not that I love common council meetings. Sometimes they do go on so very long. Mm-hmm. Happily, this one ended around 8 p.m. But I was there specifically for a rally from the same people who did rally for the initial announcement of Dairy Drive's contract ending. Mm-hmm. They came because the Common Council was having a special session specifically on the upcoming Bartillion shelter, the men's shelter that's supposed to be 24 hours. Alders had some questions about it. The people there to protest and call on the alders, or at least the ones that did not vote, voted against renewing the contract for Dairy Drive and dismantling that location. They're there to call them out to hopefully get them to reconsider. And they were hoping to speak public comment during it, but that wasn't available because it was a special session.
Right. At a regular city council meeting, you can speak to anything that's on the agenda. You can't just talk about whatever. You got to talk something about on the agenda. But a special session, there's no public comment. Well,
you're supposed to talk about what's on the agenda, but if you've been to these meetings,
what's quote on the agenda can be fluid sometimes.
What's on the agenda for the person that registers is not necessarily what's always on the agenda for the actual meeting.
Right.
Which,
in any case, there were how many people were there, like protesters?
About 40.
Okay.
And they're just chanting. They're there with alders, former alder Juliana Bennett and current alder Davey Meyer to call on their fellow alders to reconsider the vote.
And they wouldn't need very many to change, right? The vote to end the contract was passed by
I think
one vote or something, one or two votes, right?
It was just one vote.
One vote, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was one vote. So they'd only need like two people to change their mind.
They only need two people.
Now the question is, I'm not 100% sure that it's even would be allowed to reconsider an allocation vote like that.
No one.
It is right. Yeah.
No one seems to know. The protesters are hoping that that's possible. Alders like Alder MGR, who we'll definitely talk about there in a little bit, doesn't know if that's possible either because he's never had to do it before. Community members are at least kind of certain that they can, but
and let's like kind of revisit a little bit why this is a problem, because it's not that they're just trying to be mean. It's to the homeless people at Dairy Drive. It's like don't have money for it.
Well, they also don't have money for the Bartillion shelter.
Okay.
That's not fully funded.
Oh, that's not?
At all.
Oh, I thought that was like in the capital budget. Okay.
That was some of the questions there. We didn't write about the meeting there. We wrote about the rally.
Right,
but
right.
In that meeting, some of the questions were about the actual funding and how it's not fully funded. And so if they don't get all that money, that it's not going to be a 24-hour shelter. It's not going to be.
Who are they hoping to get money from? If it's not just the city's operating budget.
That's kind of it. Maybe maybe the broader Dane County area, because a lot of the unhoused folk do kind of congregate to Madison a lot.
That's a good point.
So they're like,
so maybe the county board can kick in a little bit. Maybe the state can kick in a little bit.
Basically.
Well, we should mention also that the Dairy Drive was funded with largely federal money.
Largely federal money.
Which is now gone.
That's gone. And that's the case for a lot of agencies and governments.
Which is because it was all like pandemic money that has just run out. Right? It's not like federal government slashing. All the federal government is slashing.
The money's gone. The money was always going to be temporary.
Right, exactly.
And that point happened. So
right.
There's a lot of scrambling going around. Frankly, Dairy Drive is just one of the things that's going to end up happening. We're probably going to see more stories along these lines of various programs being cut throughout the next, I would say, probably 6 months to a year. We're gonna see a lot more similar issues there, but it was always meant to be temporary. And since that money's out, if Madison wants to keep doing it, they have to foot the bill. But they do also have to foot the bill to destroy it, which is about $220,000, which is slightly over 25% of Dairy Drive's yearly budget. So they could technically keep it open for a bit while they finish up the Bartillian shelter, which is something that the protesters have been saying you can pay to shut it down. Winter's approaching. This is disappearing. The Bartillian shelter isn't going to be around until April of next year. So there's a whole gap of cold there, and you could use that $220,000 to not make about 29 people completely homeless.
So they're saying that if you can use that, the money you would spend to dismantle the camp, you could run it for like 3 more months.
They could run it for a few more
months. And
months.
maybe just get through most of winter at least.
Yeah.
But then they'd still have to spend another $220,000 to dismantle it after 3 months, right?
Well, yeah, they would still have to.
So that's not really a solution, guys.
I mean, it is a sensible idea. Yeah, winter is coming up.
Well, that's a strong argument to try to find enough money just to run it for a few more months to bridge the gap between now and the Bartillian shelter opening. Which, how confident are we that that's actually going to open in April?
I mean, if I recall, when I started here, there was announcements that the Bartillian shelter will be
open any minute now, and that was like 3 years ago.
So, who knows if they'll actually open up in February? But in the meantime, that $220,000 to at least dismantle the place could keep some people out of the cold. It's definitely easier to be homeless when it's warmer out.
Sure.
There's a lot of things you could do to get cooler or at least moderate temperature, but freezing is freezing.
Right.
And freezing will kill you.
Yeah. Madison famous for doing things quickly. So what was the, you mentioned about MGR, Govindaranjan, is he District 8? He's like downtown, like campus area, Alder, right?
Yep, District 8.
And he voted against continuing the contract, right? And they were calling on him specifically to change his mind, to reconsider, or why was he targeted by the protesters?
Well, they called out a few different ones, but very, very specifically, the main pressure was on Alder MGR because he has run on issues like affordability and homelessness, and
right. So they saw him as an ally that could maybe be persuaded. Maybe
they saw him as someone who's betraying what he campaigned on.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, call him out, maybe make him feel a little more accountable to it. So after the session ended, some of the protesters stayed around. Definitely not as many as before. I think last time I checked, there was maybe 15 of them left out of the 40. They stayed around to call out some alders, and MGR came out. And they got him to stop and talk. They asked him, hey, will you do a reconsideration? And MGR said, and this is a video we were sent, that he already has sent out an email about a reconsideration, but he hasn't filed any motion for that yet. So the protesters asked him, can you do that right now? He said, I'll do it. I'll do it tonight. He did not. He did not do that tonight. Instead, the very next day, he released a statement on his blog where he said, basically, I told him whatever because I felt like my life was in danger. I am not going to change my vote. I was just trying to de-escalate a tense situation. No elected official should be put in a position where they feel unable to leave a public building without making promises under pressure.
So he felt like literally threatened.
He did.
Do we have that on video of him being threatened?
That's not on video. Sharp disagreement on that. Elected officials should be put in positions where they do not feel comfortable to leave a place.
Well, yes, they should be in a position where they feel accountable, but not necessarily threatened with violence. But we don't know that.
We don't know if that
he's kind of implying that they were going to dox him. They were going to come to his house. They were going to I don't know. That's what the impression he left with.
What he said, but
we don't know.
Doesn't.
Yeah, he was there for like an hour, but we only have like a 1 minute video, so we don't have a lot. We have the video of him saying, "Okay, I'll send the email tonight." Mm-hmm. We should also note that that's not quite how that works. You don't just send an email and magically change your vote. He would have to introduce a new resolution, which would have to be co-sponsored and go through committee, and which he could definitely do, but there's no guarantee that it would ever even make it back to common council.
Exactly. So, he did really just say whatever. It's what it appears to be. But also, he did say that he would do it to the constituents that he represents. And the truth of the matter is that he did just outright lie as their elected official that he would do this thing.
Mm-hmm. And that he already had done something.
And he had already done it. But he's saying, no, I didn't. I was just trying to go home.
Just trying to de-escalate.
So, there's going to be another rally October 7th at the next Common Council meeting. I imagine that one's going to be a little more heated after that. The protest
and that's an actual council meeting where people can speak. Mm-hmm. As long as it's to something on the agenda, but like you said, that's not always.
That's never how it works.
Not always real clear.
That will probably be a long one. Probably another 2 a.m. council meeting. The protesters do want to submit an opinion piece to us about what happened and just their perspective.
Sure.
Compared to MGR's, I mean, it's a lot easier to platform the elected officials' position in words, so it would be pretty fair to put the protesters up there too.
Sure, yeah, watch for that. I don't know when they're going to submit that to us, but we'll publish it as long as it's factual and not terribly, inciting violence or anything. But I don't think it would be. Yeah. So watch out for that. And thanks for all that reporting, Omar, and staying on top of that issue, which is really, really important, especially as winter approaches.
Well, if the summer never ends.
Right, yeah. If it's ever below 90 degrees again, it'll be really important. All right, we're going to turn the page now to something I've been working on, and I'm literally in the middle of working on this, so what I'm about to say might change. The University of Wisconsin Office of Human Resources has eliminated or is in the process of eliminating its Department of Equity, Inclusion, and Employee Wellbeing, which was, for the past 5 years, a 5-person department which focused on employee well-being mostly for marginalized populations within the 28,000 or so UW employees. Also, it had a specific person to work on retention of people of color on staff and faculty, and another full-time person to focus specifically on retention of LGBTQ plus people on faculty and staff. Now, I think that means in many cases just helping with belonging, right? Making somebody feel like they belong here on staff so that they don't want to leave. So that function, that specific thing at University of Wisconsin Office of Human Resources is no longer happening. That doesn't mean there's no DEI, there's nothing, because the human resources function at University of Wisconsin is quite decentralized. There is one central Office of Human Resources, but also every department and every college has their own HR people. So there will still be some of that work being done. We know, however, that the university basically promised the legislature over a year ago now, maybe a year and a half ago, that they would eliminate or reclassify at least 1/3 of their DEI positions. I think, and these positions, I looked this up yesterday, the people in this particular HR department were definitely on the list that you got, Omar.
That one from a while ago?
Yeah, the list of all the DEI positions that were like basically on the chopping block. These all 5 of these folks were on that list for sure. There's also some question as to whether University of Wisconsin at this moment is even allowed to refill any DEI position that becomes vacant. But I also do know that of those 5 people, only 2 were left as of earlier this week, as of last week. That 3 of them have actually resigned and moved on to other jobs and have not been rehired. I'm not sure exactly the timeline, if that's all relatively recent or over the past year or so. But basically, the last 2 people are being either laid off or reassigned. It's not real clear. I'm still working on pinning that down.
So are they not being reassigned in general? Because from my understanding from at the actual universities individually, they couldn't just fire or let go these people just because they're getting rid of DEI-based initiatives.
Right.
They had to reassign them, but does that?
Well, they had to reassign people or not fill vacant positions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware that it's but that's one of my questions. I'm not sure what they're going to do with people.
Does the actual system as an administrative body have to follow those individual rules for the universities?
I don't know if the system does, but this is not a system. This is University of Wisconsin-Madison specific. My understanding is that the Human Resources Department got an email earlier this week from its leadership saying that the EIEW department was being eliminated, dismantled, sunset, something along those lines. I'm still trying to get confirmation of that, and if I get confirmation of that, I will alter this portion of the podcast. As promised, jumping in to alter this portion of the podcast to reflect that we did receive confirmation near the end of the day Thursday. We got a statement from the University of Wisconsin that says the Office of Equity, Inclusion, and Employee Wellbeing has ceased operations. So I'm not going to read this whole statement. There's kind of a lot, but it says basically says that the several EIEW programs are not duplicated by other campus or HR services. Programming will, where appropriate, be restructured within other Office of Human Resources areas with the goal of enhancing visibility and access to support services for all employees. They declined to say whether anyone's getting laid off because there's only 2 employees there. So for privacy reasons, they don't want to, it would be easy to figure out who's who, or, if they said exactly whether people are getting laid off or not. So that is, that's the update. We do have confirmation that EIEW has ceased operations. Now back to the show. But we did report earlier this year, back in April, that this EIEW department had been hosting BIPOC Network and BIWOC Network, but the women of color and people of color network gatherings once a month, real informal lunches, dinners, social events that was just about networking and connecting and, in certain spaces. And that those actually originated in a different department and were sort of adopted by EIEW. They weren't funded by the university exactly. They were sort of sponsored by different departments and stuff. But in April, they announced that those would be discontinued. And we reported on that back then. It was clear that I was told very clearly that the BIPOC network, which is basically just like an email list of people of color, would continue. Now, kind of what got me on this whole quest in the first place is that the EIEW webpage at the University of Wisconsin website is gone.
I am on that page. Oh, well,
yeah.
I'm on a page. I clicked on the link for it, and it's just HR.
Yeah. There's a link on if you go to the hr.wisc.edu, that's the homepage for the Human Resources Department. There's a link for equity, inclusion, and employee well-being. You click that, it just circles back to the OHR page.
Yeah.
If you Google equity, inclusion, employee well-being, University of Wisconsin, you get the HR front page. Like you get a link that looks like it's going to go to that EIEW site. It goes straight to HR. So they've taken that out. And then the BIPOC network page just goes to a page not found. So they've like removed all that from the website. So that's what I was like, what's going on here? And that's what I got to talking around and asking around and finding out that EIW seems to have been eliminated. Now, how big a deal is this? We don't know. It's not as if they're no longer going to welcome people of color on staff, right? They're just not going to have.
Well, hold on, we don't know that yet.
Yeah, let's not jump to conclusions. I wouldn't, but again, like they had people specifically to help those specific marginalized people feel like they belong, feel welcome, and do specific services for them, which I understand my fellow whites might be uncomfortable doing that, but that's what you got to do. Like marginalized people deal with things that we never even think of having to deal with. And some intentional work to get past those things is really important to help people want to stay. Because there's a lot of students, this is not students, but a lot of students here who come here and regret it, and feel like this is not the place for me. This is actually a really harmful place for me to be. And staff do the same thing. And turnover is expensive. And, building a faculty that isn't consistent, that where people don't feel welcome and feel good about coming to work is just not a way to run a university. So the loss of this particular department within HR, again, every college has its own HR people. Every college has its own DEI people for now, but that's changing. So what's the long-term impact of losing this relatively small department within HR? We don't know. However, it's worth noting that it is an intentional dismantling, elimination of this particular department within the Office of Human Resources at the University of Wisconsin, and we'll continue to follow that as we learn more. Before we get to Dr. Berne, I'm going to mention a couple of soccer-related things, as I often do. It's a big week for soccer this week because the U.S. Open Cup the final was this past Wednesday. Nashville beat Austin 2-1. The Jägermeister Cup final is this coming Saturday. For Madison plays at Portland, Maine at 4:00, and then the Jägermeister Cup final, Sacramento Republic versus Hartford Athletic at 9 p.m. I'll be watching both of those, and then Saturday from 11 to 3 is Madison Gas and Electric's Dia de Football, which is at Reese Stevens Field. It's free. Marco Fabian will be there. He was a Olympic gold medal winner with the Mexican national team. He'll be there doing autographs and stuff. Coaches from the Fort Madison Academy and Youth Program will be there running soccer clinics for kids aged 5 to 17, 18, whatever. It's just, having had lots of young kids, I know it's just important to just get the kids out of the damn house for a day that's a valuable opportunity to get them to run around. But also it's MG&E doing community outreach, particularly to Latino communities, but to everybody. They're going to have an electric car there. They're going to have some solar panels there. They're going to have all sorts of resources for you to not only become closer to carbon neutral, but also to save money on your electric bill. So come out to that 11 to 3 on Saturday. And then the last thing I'll mention, soccer related, is we've talked before about Madison getting a women's team. This is the same company that owns for Madison is bringing a women's pre-professional high-level team to Madison, and they have announced their first player signing, which is Sonoma Bever, who played for Edgewood.
Okay.
Madison kid. Played for SC Wave, played for Edgewood. He's now a freshman at Wake Forest and has already been on, earlier this year, she was on SportsCenter Top 10. Because in the state semifinal, she scored an Olympico, which, if you don't know, is from a corner kick. From the corner, it curves and goes into the goal, and it scores. It's very rare, and it's very awesome when it happens. And to have it happen in the state semifinal as the game winner was pretty cool, and was number 6 on SportsCenter Top 10 that night in June. So that's very exciting for women's soccer in Madison.
Who do we have winning the Jägermeister Cup?
I think Sacrapo's going to win it.
Sacramento. I only want Phoenix Rising to lose. Personal reasons we want to dive into.
They've had a rough season.
Good.
Sacramento Republic played in the U.S. Open Cup final a couple of years ago, which was quite remarkable. And they're a very good tournament team. So I think, and it's in Sacramento, so I think they will beat Hartford. I think it's going to be at least 3-1. That's my prediction for the Jägermeister Cup final. Madison did not do well at all in the Jägermeister Cup this year, which is fine. All right, that's what we have for today. Have a wonderful weekend. When we come back, Dr. Jennifer Berne will be here. And joining us now is the new president of Madison College, new-ish, a couple months now, Dr. Jennifer Berne. Thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's actually my 3-month and 1-day anniversary
All
today.
Right. Yeah,
so
good.
I started July 1st.
Wonderful. And how's it going? How are you settling into Madison? Welcome to Madison, first of all.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me. I think Madison's quite incredible. I moved here from Ann Arbor, Michigan, which everybody told me, oh, you're moving to.
Very similar, yeah.
But it's actually not similar at all.
Really?
In my viewing, Ann Arbor, which is in my heart and I love, is a college town, and that's what it is. And we called it a company town because every other sign was maize and blue. Madison's much more diverse in its in the people, but also in that their people are here for the college, for the university, but they're here for the industry, they're here for the government, they're here for the high tech, and they're here for Madison College. So I've really enjoyed getting to know it, and there's a lot more for me to explore.
Great. We'll talk a bit more about Madison College and your vision for that, but
Sure.
I want to get to know you first of all. You say you came most recently from Ann Arbor.
Yes.
Give us your elevator pitch of your story. Your background.
So I'm a lifelong educator. I started in community colleges 38 years ago, teaching English and ESL at a community college outside Detroit, Michigan. And then I've done a million other things at 4 years, at 2 years. I've been, I think, everything you can be in academics. I've been a professor and a dean and a vice president and a provost. And all of it was leading to the ability to lead a magnificent institution like Madison College. But in order to do that, I had to go a lot of places. I've worked at community colleges, and this is my 4th state. Michigan, Illinois, Massachusetts, and they're all different. They all think about their community college differently, and they all serve their communities differently. And I learned a lot along the way from those experiences.
Part of that, one of the things you probably learned, and what I'm curious about, is the role of a community college, not only just in educating your students, but in the community, right? In the economy of the community and in the sort of the fabric of the community life. What do you think? What are your thoughts about that? About what the role a community college plays in a community?
Yeah, my thoughts are that it is a convener and a central force in a way that only a community and technical college can be, because the students that we educate in our community, and we educate for the community. Mm-hmm. And our students tend to stay where they are. Mm-hmm. Sure. Four-year students come, go, and that's great. But our students are solving the problems of the workforce here. And so we couldn't be more integrated in the community. I actually don't really see the line between the college and the community. We are the same. Their success is our success and vice versa. And we just want to be as robust a partner as possible.
Has that evolved over the course of your career? Is that the role of the community college?
I think it's evolved in that at early in my career, we just wanted students to find us. And we just were... all we wanted to do was enroll. And there's amazing stories about getting in the past about getting students to enroll and then hoping that they would leave in the second day, because then we had their enrollment. And that was, a terrible way to position things. So it's really evolved in that now we, of course, want to enroll them, but we actually need them to finish what they start, not just take classes, not just wander around, but really have a path and complete that path. And so our energy is now about enrolling students, letting them know we're here and what we have, but also once we get them in the door, nurturing them and committing to them toward completion.
You mentioned that every community college you've been at has been slightly different. They have different priorities, different relationships with the community. What's your impression so far, specifically of Madison College as it relates to Madison? With the two campuses on the east side and one right here in the heart of the south side. What are your impressions in terms of Madison College specifically?
Yeah, I think Madison College is nonpartisan. I think my experience is that everybody has a relationship and a connection to Madison College. They went there, their mother went there, their child went there, they worked there, they took a class in winemaking there, all sorts of things. And I don't know if they're just saying this to me, but what they're saying is that they're so glad it's here, that they see the role that it plays, and that they want to continue to support it. I think it's a win for everyone.
And have you? I'm curious because your previous college was Oakland
Community College, yes,
in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Obviously, you mentioned Ann Arbor, the University of Michigan City, right? So, what was the relationship between Oakland and U of M, and how does that compare to Madison College relationship with UW?
Yeah, well, just to be precise, so I lived in Ann Arbor. The college was between Ann Arbor and Detroit. However, all paths led to University of Michigan. Right. And, the relationship was similar. I always said about U of M and what I think of UW, we need each other. So our students are as diverse as any student that they get from anywhere. And our students who complete 60 credits with us and transfer to U of M, to UW, do as well, if not better, than their native students. So we are absolute partners. The way we're partners with K-12, we wish the best for Madison Metropolitan Schools. They wish the best for us because we share a goal, which is to make sure that all of our citizens have access to high quality education.
Over the past several years, Madison College has made a real concerted effort to diversify the student population to support students of color specifically. Was that part of your impression coming in, and what's your impression of those efforts, and how do you hope to continue that? Yeah,
my impression is that Madison College is committed to all students, but in particular is energized toward those who have been traditionally marginalized in higher education, which includes people of color, which includes English as a second language speakers, which includes LGBTQ community, students who are divergent,
sure.
have disabilities. So all of those students are our students. They're welcome and wanted, and it's our job to adjust higher education to them. We used to say that students have to be college ready, and now we say that the college has to be student ready.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Whoever those students are. So I would say my impression of the work that we're doing is we're absolutely focused, again, not only on providing access to those students, but providing clear pathways toward completion.
If you look ahead 5 years, 10 years, however, whatever time period you want to think in, how do you know you've been successful?
I know I've been successful if more students fulfill the needs of Madison's workforce. And that's truly a quantitative number. So we need X amount of nurses. Is Madison College providing those nurses to our community? Are those nurses successful? Are they taking good care of us? And that's true in all of our industries, in our advanced manufacturing, in our accounting, in also, do our students transfer effectively to UW-Madison or any of the UW schools or any of the private colleges in the state or out of it? Do they transfer successfully, taking their full 60 credits with them so that they can benefit from our really modest tuition?
If I'm a parent or if I'm a high school senior or junior, what is the case to be made to start at Madison College or to come to Madison College?
Yeah, well, I am a parent as well.
Okay.
And the case is we will offer a highly intellectual, engaged environment for the first 60 credits of a baccalaureate, if that's what you're interested in. At a quarter of what it will cost to go to most other schools.
That's key. Yeah.
And we really want to set a firm foundation for students. So I would say that. I would also say, please let us help you as a parent, your student, explore career paths that you might not have thought about. We have 2-year degrees in biotechnicians, which are extremely well needed in this area. We have a lot of healthcare opportunities, including surgical technology and dental hygienists, and of course nursing. We have 2-year business degrees. We have machine tool. We have the highest technology in all of these fields. And so please think about a 4-year degree, but also think about what the opportunities you might have for a 2-year degree or certificate that leads you to a very robust career that affords you growth and serves the community.
And what about on downtime and getting around Madison? What have you experienced, enjoyed? Did you find any good places to eat or anything?
Well, what I would say is that my experience of Madison is it has 2 characteristics that I wouldn't have expected. One is I cannot leave my house without running into a beautiful trail. I mean, they are serious about their trails. I'm a runner, and so I've run as many trails as I can find. I'm getting ready to run the Madison Marathon in November.
Oh, great.
So I will see, I think, a part of it that I haven't seen. And so they're serious about their trails, and they are serious about their gas stations, where I had never been to a gas station where you could buy hamburger meat, a Rice Krispie treat, and a cashmere sweater, all in the same location. And it's not just one, they're everywhere. So there must be something, I'm from Michigan, where we take our cars very seriously, but in Madison, they take their gas very seriously. And the proximity to retail when you're getting gas.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Quick Trip is a thing, right? Like we all know about Quick Trip, but I hadn't thought about it.
Yeah, well,
the gas stations broadly as a whole Madison thing.
It has a whole Madison thing, and they have personalities. So I'm just used to getting my gas, walking in, getting my Diet Coke, and leaving. In other states, in Madison, it's a whole adventure when you walk into the gas station.
There's a pile of bananas.
That's right. And lots of things.
Yeah, lots of things. All right, Dr. Jennifer Berne, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck at Madison College, and keep us in the loop, will you?
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
See you next time, everybody. 365 Amplified is produced and edited by me, Rob Chappell, and is a production of 365 Media Foundation, a nonprofit, local, independent media organization in Madison, Wisconsin. Wherever you're listening to this right now, hit the subscribe or follow button. to get new episodes every Friday. And between episodes, get your latest news at madison365.org and follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Threads. Wherever you get your news, we'll be there.